Step in the ring, feel the adrenaline rush, throwing fists and kicks, the pain we can't hush. And then they find us, we're the real tough guys, breaking down barriers, we aim for the skies. Into the octagon like a warrior I stand, slaying blows, taking hits as I command. The art of combat, I'm ready to go. Submission, knockout, that's how I flow. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling like a golden octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling like a golden octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live from the Golden Octagon Studios in Norfolk, Virginia. This is the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D. Rose.
And what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. As always, my name is Matt. D. Rose is on that cyber screen. And yeah, it's going to be a fun podcast. We've got some fights to go over. Here, let me pull them up. Because why not? Let me pull up the banners.
Do we have to? Do we have to?
Yep,
do we have to go over
have
the
to.
ones from last week?
We have to. At least I'm going to talk, dude. I'm going to talk about what I thought about the fights. UFC Vegas 95. Me and D-Rose are going to give you our recap. And, D-Rose trying to get out of this. But you see the shiny gold strap is back over on this side. I don't know what that's doing on D-Rose's side this week. He's going to be eating some beans this week. And then we'll go over some UFC news and fight announcements. And then pretty much what you guys are here for. Our UFC 305 Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya preview and our picks for this weekend, and we'll try to give y'all a plus 100. And me and D-Rose don't ever talk about this before the show, but it's not like we've been doing good. So the only time we've done good on it is when I think D-Rose hasn't bet it. So it's probably better off if like I just bet it and then D-Rose doesn't bet the plus 100.
Yep.
Because when D-Rose bets it, we don't win it. We don't.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was actually going to say that. Yeah, I think I'm tagging out on this one. This will be a solo mission for you because man, I just seem to continuously tank the boys. Man, it's brutal.
All right, but before we get started, let's shout out the chat real quick, D-Rose, and then we'll talk about how we were and all that from this past weekend. We got Austin in here. Hola, amigos. What's going on, Austin? Appreciate you stopping by tonight, brother. We got the loyal Lush Lil Main back in here. We missed you, Lush. We missed you, brother. Another Golden Wednesday with the boys. And then we've got Tim in here, LFG boys, DDP, and Urseg parlay for me. Well, Tim, I don't hope you lose your money. However, I know I'm going a different way than you, man, my guy. So good luck this weekend, Tim. We got Daniel in here with the LFG. Riley Ariba. I'm not going to try that one. Riley, good luck, man. This was like when you went to change your shirt, D-Rose. I said D-Rose fixing his hair, and everyone got a crack out of that. We got Tim saying, here we go. And Dave, Fish for Days with the greetings. Earthlings, what's going on, Dave? Appreciate you stopping by tonight, my guy. So, D-Rose, with that being said, how you been over the past week or so, my guy, since last podcast last Wednesday?
Yeah, no, things have been great. As far as my betting weekend, it was actually pretty awful. Kept it pretty light this weekend for the most part.
Same.
And we'll get into it as a whole. But let's just say Carl Williams. He's on my shit list right now, just as far as performances go. So yeah, really busted a big bet that I had that, I had a 2-leg parlay with him and Chepe, and basically it was $50 to win like 110 or something like that, just to pad the account. Yeah, definitely pissed me off to where, not gonna lie, I didn't really pay attention to much of the card. I mean, I watched it here and there. I kind of had like one eye on it, but man, it was. I'm not gonna lie, boys. That was tough watching this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess with that being said, I didn't do too well. I didn't win anything this past weekend, D-Rose. So I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. The people that I needed to wrestle didn't wrestle. And what am I doing? Wrong one. Vegas 95 recap. So we'll talk about it real quick. So this whole fight night was just basically people that I needed to wrestle just didn't wrestle until it was like too late. And I don't know if like the Muhammad Makayev thing was true about how like they were like, hey, stop wrestling, be more exciting, or we're not going to re-sign you. I don't know if that's true. I was actually listening to Clint on his podcast Monday, like this week, and he said like that he heard some like kind of like rumblings that someone from the Jonathan Denise corner or the Carl Williams corner heard something about Carl Williams was kind of told like the same thing, dude. And I was like, damn it, dude, if this is true, like they're taking away like our only view of how the only thing that we know, dude, he wrestles nonstop 100% of the time. And when he doesn't even try until the third round and he does it with ease, it's like, Jesus, dude, like it just kind of seemed like something shady is going on, dude. But yeah, a terrible weekend of betting for me. I didn't win anything, as I said. But let's talk about the whole card real quick. Yeah, man. And as you said, I'll let you know where I kind of like lost interest at, and it was before the main card even started, dude. I think the first fight of the main card, I was like, man, I don't even care anymore. But yeah. Anyway, main event, Marcin Tybura, Sergey Spivak, dude. I saw what happened, but I was like, oh, cool. At least I won the pick champ. I didn't. Sergey Spivak with the armbar, first round, 144. Wins me the pick champ this week. So that's good. I was happy about that. Damon Jackson and Chepe, dude. This is one that I was like, how do I say this, dude? It was kind of a bad look that Chepe couldn't finish Damon Jackson because, dude, Damon Jackson was ready to just give up, but it was almost like the ref wasn't stopping it. I forgot who the ref was, and we'll talk about Jason Herzog a few fights down, dude. But I forgot who the ref was in that fight. But it's like Damon Jackson was begging for him to stop the fight, and he just wouldn't, dude. Just letting Chepe just rain down punch after punch, dude. Chepe missed weight too, so he didn't have to cut all the way down to 145 as Damon Jackson
missed weight bad too.
Yeah. So feature fight, Danny Barlow, Nikolai Veretennikov, dude. That fight was, I think, as me and you kind of talked about, it was closer than what the odds suggested, dude. Danny Barlow did win, but dude, it wasn't a clean fight. He's very green and raw. I would like to see some improvements upcoming from the left-handed guy, Danny Barlow. He didn't get Nikolai Veretennikov out of there, and I would have liked to see that with just a massive favorite that he was. Same thing with Chris Gutierrez. Quang Lee, dude. It's like that fight was also much closer than it needed to be. It's like, but me and you talked about it last week on the pod, dude. Chris Gutierrez will get hit a couple times and just kind of freeze up and not really do anything or do just enough to win. So yeah, that fight was kind of ass, but Chris Gutierrez does get the decision, dude. This one right here was, I think, when I lost all interest, dude. I was like, I don't even care what happens for the rest of the night because me and you were on Chelsea Chandler, dude. Once again, missed weight by 5 pounds, dude. So I'm like, all right, dude, she's got a clear size and strength advantage over Yana Santos. But, dude, she just came in there with that and just did this the whole fight.
It's so annoying.
kind of like Mikael Olszewski, that same style, dude. But she was just walking forward, like.
But the difference is Mihal throws and Chelsea
dude.
Chandler wasn't. And even when she
like,
was, it wasn't clean.
Yeah, dude. I just needed her to wrestle, dude. And I'm not saying UFC told her that. I just think Chelsea Chandler is an ass fighter, and we knew that. But, dude, I just thought me and you both just thought Yana at this point was done, dude. But she just looked good. I mean, what can you say? We'll never bet Chelsea Chandler ever again, to be honest. And this one was the one which was pretty much the start of the downfall that I was like, man, fuck tonight, dude. This fight, Toshiomi Kazama versus Harlampos Gregorio, dude. It's like round one went the opposite of what I needed it to. I was like, dude, I need Gregorio round one, round two knockout, because Kazama's chin is just dog shit. And we saw in early round two, it still is dog shit, dude. Dude, Gregorio comes out, drops Kazama, dude, starts landing vicious 20 elbows on him, dude, just bouncing his head off the canvas, dude. And Herzog refuses to stop this fight to the point where Gregorio gasses out with the amount of ground and pound that he has landed on Kazama, dude. Kazama just lifts up his legs and is fucking sinks Gregorio in half of a triangle, dude. That shit wasn't even locked in. Even locked in, dude. And Gregorio just like, get me out of here, dude.
It reminded me of Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena. The way he was just like, all right, dude, I'm done. Like just immediately tapped that even like that.
All of his gas, dude. That fight should have been stopped, man. And when that fight did not get fucking stopped, dude, I was like, that's it, dude. I'm done. I'm not betting on like for the whole rest of the main card. I don't care what happens. I'm not wasting my money on this card. We'll run through the prelims real quick. Should have been probably my only bet of this entire card was Carol Hosa via decision, dude. I was confident. I was like, she's better than fucking Pandy Kianzad everywhere, dude. And she showed that, man. And fight wasn't even close. I'm surprised, honestly, that she didn't stop Pandy Kianzad in the third there because she was bloodied up. This one, Johnny Denise, Carl Williams. This is the one where it's like, I wonder if someone got in Carl Williams' ear and was like, hey, if you continue to just wrestle, we're not going to re-sign you. And because that's what it looked like, dude, because the first two rounds didn't even fucking shoot, man. And then the third round gets like literally, I'm like, oh shit, he's about to get knocked out. Grabs a single leg and throws him down with ease. It's like, oh, okay, well, cool. It is what it is. Yusuf Salal chokes out Jarno Aarons first round with ease. And Stephanie Luciano, Talita Alencar, dude, this is another one that it's like, dude, this fight happened 9 months ago. Talita Alencar dogged Stephanie Luciano the first two rounds, wrestled her nonstop, dude. This fight, dude, she didn't even shoot once again until the third round. It's like, is someone telling these fighters they're not allowed to wrestle the first two rounds? Like they have to strike? I don't know. It was an odd card, man. And I'm hoping that this doesn't continue to happen because sometimes we kind of rely on the wrestlers to go out there and wrestle to get the dub. And when it don't happen, it's kind of upsetting. Anything I didn't say that you want to talk about from this past weekend, D-Rose?
Yeah, like I said, Carl Williams, yeah, that was the one for me the most that I was with you when obviously, like I said, I placed a pretty decent sized bet on him to win, but I was anticipating the wrestling, and so I came in at maybe the mid part of round one and basically watched it from that point on. And I messaged you in the second round, and I was like, dude, how has he not wrestled yet? Now he's down, 2 rounds to nothing. And I know you said you felt like the fight was close, but I was like, dude, the fight's not close right now because he's keeping it in a kickboxing match and is allowing the kickboxer to literally kick his ass. And that's how I felt going into that third round. And as you said, with ease, Carl Williams ended up taking him down basically while he was on skates because he ended up getting hurt by a big shot that Johnson Denise landed. So he did that, and then he was able to get off some pretty vicious ground and pound not too long after that. So it's like, dude, if you had to just done that earlier on in the fight, like, I mean, bump whatever they said about like less wrestling. They're probably saying like less lay and pray. But dude, if you got like some vicious ground and pound, the UFC has no problem promoting anything like that.
I agree.
But yeah, you land the ground and pound there in the third round. It's like, you know, as you said, is there somebody in their ear like telling them this? Like, I mean, did he place a bet that he wouldn't go for more than 3 takedowns or something? Because I think he only went for like 3 the whole fight or whatever. Yeah, just really weird the way that played out. That was yeah, annoyed me. And then for the main event, Spivak and Tybura. As soon as Spivak was on his back, I was like, okay, yep, this is how the fight's going to go for the next 25 minutes. And yeah, I thought it was just going to be Tybura just controlling and you know, basically making it hard for Spivak to get any submissions. But I will say that was a very slick submission that Spivak was able to get off, you know.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you shouldn't get arm barred from guard, especially this late in your career, Tybura. It's like, like I can understand your second, third, fourth fight, dude, but Tybura, you've had so many fights, like you can't get arm barred.
He's never been submitted. He's never been submitted before either. So I mean, that's another crazy thing in itself. For as long as he's been fighting. Yeah, that's the first time he'd ever been submitted. So that's why I said I had to give credit to Spivak for that, because you don't see heavyweights move like that now. So I honestly, I could see how Tybura was caught by surprise by that, because again, you don't see big heavyweights like that being so agile on the ground to get an arm bar from guard like that. So impressive win from him. Chepe, sucks that he didn't make weight. Said that he had actually ended up, I guess he had mentioned that he would go ahead and pull out from the fight because he had a pretty good idea that he wasn't going to make weight and didn't want to do Damon Jackson like that. But I guess they ended up working out, you know, whatever money ended up going over to Damon Jackson, so they were able to get it worked out. But good performance for Chepe, and he's just got that dog style, man. That's just what I like about him. He's not great at one thing, but he's good at everything. Like, he's got good wrestling, good boxing, pretty good defense for the most part. Good in scramble situations. Throws. Yeah, really good with those. Yeah, really good with those judo throws. I mean, dude, he's very well rounded, man. And I'm not saying that he's going to be. I mean, he kind of reminds me of like a Dan Ige a little bit. Without the power. But just in terms of like a style, you know, Danny Gay's got power, but he's well rounded at everything as well. You know, pretty good jiu-jitsu as you saw in the last fight against Diego Lopez and whatnot. So, going to be excited for Chepe moving forward. And honestly, the last person for me, because this card is pretty ass. Dude, Carol Hoza, as you said, you know, she looked good in her fight by decision, and yeah, I don't know if it's me or, I mean, I know the Iranian Aldana fight, obviously, that was the women's fight of the year last year. No questions about it. But I just remember just watching that fight this past weekend, and I was like, dude, just the way that she was able to get Pandy Kanzat in the clinch and just smashing her with elbows and knees. And, dude, she literally just walks forward and throws leg kicks and hellacious combos. And if you stand in the pocket, whether she's going to be throwing elbows and knees, dude, like she's nasty, dude. I'm not gonna lie, she's one of those bantamweights that she might not be the best, but yeah, if I see Carol Hoza's name lined up on a card, like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be pretty excited, because that chick's got a dog in her, man. Yeah, just every blow she was landing on a Pandy Kanzat, just had Pandy Kanzat just running for dear life. And yeah, she was landing them leg kicks too. Had Pandy Kanzat almost out of there in the first round with leg kicks. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be excited to see more Carol Hoza moving forward. But yeah, that's it on the card for me, because this card was pretty ass.
Never had a UFC finish, but I mean, dude, she beats the shit out of these girls.
Dude, just absolutely beats the shit out of them. Or she's in there for a fight. Like, she's not going in there to, like, you know, she's not going in there to mess around. Like, she's going in there to throw down, forward pressure, and just walking you down. She's fun to watch, man.
Indeed. We got Dave saying, anyone watch Tough last night? This guy Valentine looks good. Yeah, we had Tough last night and the Ultimate, or Tough last night and the Contender Series last night. Both. I actually got the pleasure of watching both of those. Yeah,
I did watch the Contender Series, but not Tough.
Yeah, Robert Valentine's going to be a problem, dude. he's pretty wild fighter. And then yeah, on the ultimate or on the contender series, what did any of them stand out? The last dude's gonna have
Jose
the last
Delgado.
yeah,
I like
dude's
that.
gonna
The
be a
second
problem.
dude.
Yeah, but the last dude, dude, I think he has some gas tank. Like once he actually fights a person that's good, it's like he's gonna run out of gas, I believe. Yeah.
No, that's why I said for me on contender series, Jose Delgado was the one for me. I think they were at 55, but he took the fight on short notice. And dude, I mean, he literally put everything together so well with the boxing combos, wrestling, and dude, that knee at the end to land. Dude, I mean, it was a baseball bat going off someone's head, dude. It was absolutely nasty. But yeah, Jose Delgado looked really good.
Fair enough. We got Joshua Jacquez. Hey guys, what's up? What's going on, Joshua? Like your videos. I appreciate it. Do you think they will make more UFC cards? Yes. So there are some will be out probably in the next few months. We got Kavanaugh KO was nasty. Yeah, that was a pretty crazy one. Knocked him out. Dude, he was out for a long time, dude. I think it was Antoine Ho. Dude, he was out for so long. And I actually bet Antoine Ho to win that fight via decision. So after that fell out, I was like, well, I'm not betting on any more contender series tonight. Yeah. Do you think Harry Hardwick from Cage Warriors will be in UFC or no? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah. So here we go. With that being said, Heroes, here we go. Fights from this past weekend. We've got our three different ones were Talitha Alencar versus Stephanie Luciano, where I went Talitha Alencar and you went Stephanie Luciano. Yusuf Zalal versus Jarno Aarons, where I went Yusuf Zalal and you went Jarno Aarons. And the last one could have been Daniel Barlow versus Veretinikov, but it was Sergey Spivak versus Marcin Tybura. I went Sergey Spivak, you went Marcin Tybura. So D-Rose gets the pleasure this week of getting bean boozled, and hopefully he gets some fish scales. What's D-Rose going to get this week? Hold on.
Oh, shit.
Magic bean. Oh, D-Rose going to magically lose his now.
Hold on.
I hope D-Rose gets a booger flavor and a rotten egg. Where is he going?
Just misplace him. Booger I forgot rotten egg. I had like 2 half boxes. So I just took the one and I just formed them both into one box together here. So I looked, I picked up the empty box. I was like, hey, I'm out. Hey, look. But unfortunately I got the whole box right here.
Booger and rotten egg. Here we go. Right. Booger and rotten egg.
Well, I'm just gonna dig 2 out. I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna look here.
Okay. Booger and rotten egg. Oh, come on. Green and white and yellow.
Oh,
come on. Green and white and yellow.
No, it's either birthday cake or dishwater. Man, shit.
Oh, that one is pretty rough.
Gosh, I haven't had that one in a while. I am praying that is not it. And I think this is. It's like pink. I think this is Tutti Frutti or Stinky Socks.
Oh, so you could get dirty dishwater and Stinky Socks both, dude? Let me get the pleasure of watching you eat both the bad beans.
All right, so we'll go for the white one here first. We'll foil in for the close up here.
Dish, water, dish, water, dish, dish.
Yes, yes, yes. Gosh, that one is harsh, dude. Golly. Like, it legit tastes like no bullshit. It tastes like legit, and like not Dawn, Dave. Ajax. Like, it tastes like freaking Ajax and your breadcrumbs
from
that you ended up like washing down, dude. Like, it literally tastes like someone like had the little shape, like the drain thing from your sink and just dumped it in your water and was like, "Here, take a sip." Like that shit is disgusting, dude.
All right.
And this one's
Stinky
out of there.
sock.
Tutti Frutti
Stinky socks.
or Stinky Sock. Oh, come on. Look out for me, man.
Give him
Damn.
the socks.
Look out for your boy.
Give him the socks. Give him the socks. Socks. I feel like it's been in there too long. Really? It really was in there a long time. You didn't know it was socks for that long?
I did not. I literally let the spit sit there.
Dishwater flavor.
I did. I will say that was not as harsh as the dishwater, though, dude. But that's bullshit. How do I get two, man? Golly.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say I did still have that dishwater taste in my mouth, but fuck. Two, man. That's bull.
Everyone loves it when you get the bad beans. Well, it's just because you started off on such a run of nothing but good beans. That's why everyone loves when you get the bad beans.
Hell no.
D-Rose is a horrible actor. They don't even believe it, D-Rose.
Hell no. No. The Thinky Socks, I will say it wasn't terrible because the dishwater was so bad. You know what? I'll never get the dub. I'll never get the dub.
They don't even, you can't
I will
even
literally
win.
eat. I will literally eat these horrible ass beans. The worst beans, dude. It's wild.
Dude, it's like I guess you can open up a fresh box and eat every bean and be like, oh, this one's a good one. Ugh, this was a bad one. They were like, liar. Oh, he's lying. He opened it through the bottom, took them out. Oh my goodness.
So I gotta pretend. Hey,
beans in there.
Hey, I ain't got to pretend. Them things brutal.
Matt's over there puking, D-Rose eating. You're like, oh shit, I gotta pretend it's bad.
Hey, because I'm not a 10-year-old. I can handle the bad flavor, but that doesn't mean I like it.
Dude, I'm bad. I will throw up. Dude, if I eat I will never be the guy to eat like bad food. Like I immediately know like something's off. Like, dude, I taste something bad right away, dude. Like it's I don't know what it is, dude. I can't eat seafood. If I put seafood in my mouth, dude, the flavor, dude, fish sticks as a kid ruined me, dude. If anything remotely tastes like fucking fish sticks, dude, I'm throwing up. I don't know what it is, dude. I'm going to throw up if it dude, the smell, I'm just not good at it, dude. I love
good. Fish. Yeah, I love
fish. Just breaking your balls, dude.
Right? I know.
All right, y'all. All right, y'all. So let's get into the what are the fight announcements for this week. So let's see. We got. I'm saying with seafood. My wife likes the gross seafood. Yeah, my girlfriend's a big sushi fan, and I just kind of get chicken and rice when we go to Japanese restaurants. All right. So starting off our UFC news and fight announcements for this week, D-Rose, we do have Anthony Lionheart Smith taking on Dominic Reyes, dude. They've scheduled this for UFC 310, December 7th. That's a long time away, but yeah, I guess you got to give both guys plenty of time because they might pull out unless they can get ready for it for this long.
Yeah, well, and remember exactly after Anthony Smith's fight with Roman Dolidze, he looked over at Hunter Campbell and said, "Hey, can I have a little bit more time?" So, I mean, how's 5 months going to do you? Is that plenty of time or what? So yeah, but I think overall in terms of the fight, I mean, it's a pretty good matchup and a good test to see where where Dominic Reyes is at, and if Dominic Reyes can go out there and finish Anthony Smith for as far back as we thought Dominic Reyes was, a win like that would catapult him right back up to the top of the division and our first new face in the division again.
Yeah, and I think a winnable fight too. Anthony Smith hasn't looked great in his past few fights. We'll move on to the next one where we have don't care. We have Jessica Penne taking on Elise Reed, UFC Vegas 99, dude. I'm gonna call this right now, D Rose. You ready for this? You ready? I'm not sure if he's muted or if he's there.
Yeah, no. No, honestly, I'm sitting here. I'm confused. Didn't Jessica Penne retire? I thought she retired
a while ago, and then she came back, dude. But I guarantee you, Jessica Penne rear naked chokes Elise Reed. I guarantee you. I will bet it. I will bet Jessica Penne via sub, dude, because she's going to sub Elise Reed, and the odds are going to be fucking astronomical. It's going to be like plus 800. Watch it. But Elise Reed's just ass, dude. She's not good. And if there's one thing Jessica Penne is, she's tough and she finds the back.
Yeah, she's got a sick. She got a sick rear naked choke, like you said, once she gets the back. So, I could see that happening, and it should be a pretty solid fight. But again, I'm even surprised to see Jessica Penne getting a fight announced because, I was under the assumption that she retired. So I'm glad I wasn't tripping for you to say that. She looks like Mark Zuckerberg. Kinda. He's not lying. He's not lying.
But okay, we'll move on. We've got an interesting one here. UFC 308. We've got Abus Magomedov taking on Bruno Ferreira. October 26th. I think that's the Abu Dhabi card. What's your thoughts on this?
Two guys that don't have a gas tank and can barely get out of the first round. I wonder how this is going to go. I will probably bet this to at least start the third round because something sneaky is going to be up in this fight where somebody's going to end up using some wrestling, and for as much fireworks as we would probably expect out of this fight ends up being some type of slow-paced fight. But if it lives up to what we kind of know both of these fighters to be, which is fast starters there in the first round with good power, this fight should end pretty quickly. And Bruno's got a lot of momentum with the last few finishes that he's gotten, and it seems to only be getting better.
Is it odd that I would kind of lean Abus off the jump in this fight? Just because I've seen Bruno get cracked early. Yeah, I've just seen Bruno get cracked early, and fucking Abus can, dude. If there's one thing he has early, it is power, and he was fast, dude. So yeah, dude. Interesting fight. I wouldn't mind seeing odds for that though. That's from this past weekend. All of the results. Dude, look how bloody, dude. All of that blood is Penny Kianzad's blood. Yeah,
because just like that with them elbows right there, she was busting her ass up with them elbows, dude. It was nasty.
Yeah. Chepe, dude, dude, there was one point fucking Damon Jackson was just standing there and just fell over, dude. I'm like, he's asking to get out of there. I actually think that's our last one this week, D-Rose. Yeah, that's all we got for our UFC news and fight announcement. Anything that I didn't talk about that you would like to talk about before we get into our picks for this weekend?
No, I didn't. I didn't see much more other than that. So let's get into the card this weekend.
All right, what all of you are here for our UFC 305 Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya preview and picks. Let me share my screen, and then we will get right into it. So,
pretty solid card for the most part too.
I'm excited, dude. I love me a pay-per-view. It tends to be what I went on. Oh yeah, Dave's saying so. Connor not fighting this year. That is what Dana said. Yeah, it's that wouldn't surprise. I'm not sure if we ever see Connor fight again, Dave. To be honest, but. It is what it is. At this point, I don't really think it matters too terribly much. So, yeah, let's get into this card. UFC 305, Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. Adesanya. I don't know how to say it, D Rose. I'm not. I'm not from I'm not from Africa. I'm not going to say it right. I'm going to get it wrong every time. So, with that being said, it's going to be taking place Saturday, August 17th at prelims going to start at 6:30 East Coast time in the US. We're going to be, or there, what am I saying? The venue will be the RAC Arena or RAC Arena. I don't know. Rena Center Arena. I don't know what it is in Perth, Western Australia. We've got 12 fights, though, D Rose. It is going to be headlined by Dricus Still Knox du Plessis taking on Israel, the last style bender Adesanya. We've got Kai Don't Blink Car France taking on Michael Scott, Steve Urseg, or I believe, what is it? Superboy Steve Urseg?
Astro Boy.
Astro Boy Steve Urseg. You knew that one. We got Matus Gamer Gamrot taking on Dan the Hangman Hooker. We've got Ty Bam Bam Tuivasa taking on Jairzinho Biggie Boy Rosenstruck. We've got the Leech Li Jingliang taking on the cigarette smoker in Carlos Prates. Don't forget about that, you know. We've got Junior Tafa, the fake heavyweight, taking on Walter Walker, the brother of Johnny Walker, but somehow a Russian wrestler. Doesn't make sense. We've got Josh Kuya Kulubau taking on the spinning elbow master himself in Ricardo Hamosh. We've got King Casey O'Neill taking on, she changed her picture, D-Rose, Live, Laugh, Love, Luana Santos.
She looks a little more vicious in the new pictures versus the old one, for sure.
Yeah, she fought like 2 months ago against my girl Maria Agapova. Didn't go.
No, it was when we were dude, it was just last month. Is when we were when we were up there. Yeah, we watched the fight together.
Yeah, and then we've got Jack Farr Jenkins taking on the absolute dude. Herbert Burns might already be out of gas right now, dude. He already don't have gas for the fight in one of our squash matches. In another squash match, we have Tom Nolan taking on Alex Reyes, dude. Alex Reyes is the brother of, we were just now talking about him versus Anthony Smith, the brother of Dominic Reyes, dude. And he's fought 2 times in the UFC, once against Mike Perry like 6 years ago. And then last year at UFC Noche against Charlie Campbell, where he got absolutely fucking mollywopped in the first round. So, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the odds for this fight this weekend, D-Rose, but I mean,
last I saw it was like minus 1100.
Dude, like
Tom Nolan.
What are we even doing? And then our last squash match, I believe we have on the card, is going to be Song Kanan versus Ricky Glenn, and we've just seen Ricky Glenn just get absolutely obliterated in his last 2 fights. So, the first fight on the card is going to be UFC newcomer Stuart Nickel taking on the chef, Jesus Aguilar. And that's where we're going to start at. Why do you call him the chef? Because he's the one that fried up Shannon Ross like a chicken tender.
If y'all have ever seen that UFC edit where the guy gets punched and knocked out and then he gets turned into like a chicken tender, because they always have like these edits where I think Karolina Kowalkiewicz is like, what is she like, holding the pot and pan while she's like stirring the broth or whatever. They have a bunch of edits like that. Yeah, the funniest one to me still to this day is Jesus Aguilar knocking out Shannon Ross, and when he falls, there's a compilation of a guy throwing a bunch of chicken tenders in a bowl and making them. So yeah, that is the funniest one for me to this day.
Dave say, I'm pretty sure I could be Herbert Burns. You might be able to, Dave, depending on your size. If he can't get you out of there in 2 minutes, he might gas, and you have a chance, Dave. You have a chance. All right, D-Rose, let's get into the card for this weekend. I believe we can boom. Well, that doesn't work. Let's put it back to where it was at. What is that? All right, now I done fucked it up. All right, there we go. So first fight on the card, we've got Stuart Nickel taking on Jesus Aguilar. Stuart Nickel is 8-0. Obviously, he is 5-0 out of his last 5 fights. He is a UFC newcomer coming from a place called Beatdown. Don't know anything about it. On the other hand, we have Jesus Aguilar, the chef, if you will. He is 10-2 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has 4 wins and 1 loss. But in the UFC, or in the Contender Series, a guillotine submission win. He did lose his first fight to Tatsuro Taira, but you know who doesn't? And this one right here, the one that dude, he should really change his name. He should have his fight name as the Chef Shannon Ross, dude. I mean, because he did chef. I mean, he should the Chef Jesus Aguilar, because he did chef up Shannon Ross with that overhand right, like 5 seconds, dude. And then he had a split decision win over Mateus Mendonca at 125. Yeah, currently, or let's do this. Stuart Nickel is 29 years old. 5'5". We don't have a height or we don't have a reach currently. Jesus Aguilar is 28 years old, 5'4", and a 62-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are, let's go FanDuel. Stuart Nickel minus 225, and Jesus Aguilar is, what is happening? Jesus Aguilar plus 172. Yeah, I don't really love the fact that the UFC newcomer is the favorite here, but I also do know that Jesus Aguilar, he's just kind of an overall, all-around good fight. I don't want to say good fighter. He's a good wrestler. His arms are really short, though, dude. He might have like one of the shortest reaches in the UFC total. I think he might be tied with like Corey McKenna for having like the shortest reach, dude. It's just his arms are so short, so which makes it even funnier when he knocked out Shannon Ross. Yeah, I guess this is going to be one where I probably won't be invested in quite or at all. But give me the UFC newcomer to win this fight via decision. What's your thoughts on the first fight of the night, D-Rose?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting matchup. I mean, from everything that I've only seen like highlights from Stuart Nickel. That's all I've seen. But it seems like he's a pretty heavy wrestler type of style from what I've seen.
Well, in his last 4 fights, he's like knocking these dudes out, but they're kind of cans though. So they're like 1-1, 3-3, 8-4, and then 5-0 was the last guy that right before he got signed.
Right. But yeah, no. So I think, if he's got kind of like that, if he's got a little bit of that heavy wrestling type of style, I mean, for Jesus Aguilar, when he fought Mateus Mendonca, Mendonca is a pretty good size for flyweight, and he's a pretty good striker with pretty good grappling for the most part. And man, Jesus Aguilar really held his own. He's got good striking, as you said. He's a good wrestler. He's got good boxing when he's in the pocket, but like you said, his arms are so short. That's the problem, is that he almost has to be standing right in front of you. But the good thing with Stuart Nickel is standing at 5'5", and Jesus Aguilar is 5'4", so it's not like the reach is going to be astronomically different, to where I think Jesus Aguilar will be able to work in on the inside, use a little pressure and cardio. I'm going to go Jesus Aguilar, man. I like the underdog line on him as well. I'll probably place him in maybe like a small parlay, or maybe look to just a third 10 straight up on Jesus Aguilar. So yeah, I like the underdog here.
All right. So I'm not sure if Lush is still in here, so let me do this. And all right, so it is a pay-per-view this weekend, so me and D-Rose will try to have 5 different picks, but yeah, if we don't, we'll just go with the 3. All right. So I'm going against the
Mexican Aguilar reach is nuts. 62 inches, okay. Like.
Oh, we got Lush here. Maybe I don't. Well, we appreciate you, Lush. We appreciate you, Lush, if you're able to keep track of it. I appreciate it, my guy. So we'll move on to the next fight, which is Song Kanan, the assassin Song Kanon versus the gladiator Ricky Glenn. Song Kanon is 21-8 overall out of his last 5 fights. He has won 2 and lost 3. One against Callum Potter. Who the fuck is that? Lost to Max Griffin, so we know who Max Griffin is. Lost to Ian Gary, but did drop him. Did beat Rolando Bedoya. That, doesn't look too great now, to be honest. And then lost to Kevin Doucet, which, Kevin Doucet has been looking pretty good. So he's winning against fighters that make us sound like an owl, kinda, but losing to fighters that are, pretty good fighters. On the other hand, Ricky Glenn, 22-8-2 overall, and before his last couple fights, dude, I don't think he had ever gotten knocked out, but out of his last 5 fights, he has only won 1 draw, and 3 losses. Lost to Kevin Aguilar via decision. His only knockout, or his only win in his last 5 fights, is this Joaquim Silva knockout 3 years ago. But Joaquim Silva, he's not the worst fighter in the world, to be honest. Grant Dawson, decision, draw, dude. And this is where it goes downhill at, because he was knocked out by Christoph Giagos in a terrible look. And then in his last fight, just, dude, it's not like he got knocked out with the first punch, dude, but every punch was hurting him, man. It's like he had to get saved, kind of, because just every punch that Drew Dober was landing on him was like rocking him, and it just looked terrible. So yeah, with that being said, odds for this fight -172 Song Kanon, +134 for Ricky Glenn. Song Kanon, 34 years old, 6 foot and a 71.5-inch reach, while Ricky Glenn's 35 years old, 6 foot and a 70.5-inch reach, dude. So Ricky Glenn, I believe, has fought down as low as 145, dude, but all the way up at 170 now against Song Kanon. And dude, if there's one thing that Song Kanon still has, is its power, dude. So I guess give me Song Kanon to probably knock out Ricky Glenn at some point in this fight with the left hook, man. Which way are you going in this fight?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to see Ricky Glenn jump up to 170, considering they was fighting at 55. But I mean, maybe just the weight cut ended up being a little bit too much as to why he made the move up. But yeah, against Song Kanon, I'm not the biggest believer in Song Kanon, but I mean, he has had moments, as you said, he's rocked Ian Gary before in his fights. He beat Rolando Bedoya, who, at a point we were pretty high on, that maybe that win hasn't aged the greatest so far, but he does seem to, for the most part, if you're not really on his level, he'll beat you. But if he's, kind of batting a little bit high, as you said, the Ian Garys, those types of fighters, he ends up getting, knocked down a little bit. But yeah, I think Ricky Glenn, his chin's just kind of not there at this point. Song Kanon still can hit hard, so yeah, I think Song Kanon gets the knockout here. I'll say Song Kanon round 1 KO.
Oh damn, going early. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen, and I don't even know if he knocks him out. I just pretty confident Song Kanon gets the dub this weekend. So we'll move on to the next fight. Wow. Let's see what's the next one here. Dude, this thing is going one way and then going. Oh, that's why this fight.
It's a couple of squash matches, boys.
Couple squash matches. So let's go ahead and just run through these real quick, D-Rap. So let's go ahead and so in this next fight we have Tom Big Train Nolan taking on the executioner, or going to be executed this weekend, Alex Reyes. So Tom Nolan, 7-1 overall, has had, I guess, 3 UFC level fights, I guess, with one on the Contender Series knockout. He did lose to Nicholas Moda. Not a good look, but if there's one thing Nicholas Moda has, is its power, and he got knocked out 6 months ago, and then 2 months ago came back and absolutely crushed Victor Martinez. But so did Jordan Levitt. Yeah. So on the other side, Alex Reyes, as I said, where is this? Yeah, 6 years ago, fought Mike Perry. and then 10 months ago fought Charlie Campbell. Got knocked out in both of them. Currently, odds for this fight is plus 680 for Alex Reyes and minus 1400 for Big Train Tom Nolan. Tom Nolan, 24 years old, 6'3", and a 73-inch reach, while Alex Reyes, 37 years old, 5'11", and a 73-inch reach. Yeah, give me Tom Nolan round one knockout, D-Rose. I assume you are probably going the same way.
Yes, I want to go Tom Nolan round one KO. Just seems to be the way for Alex Reyes. Even though I think after that Mike Perry fight, like, dude, go back and look at that fight. That fight was back in, what was it, 2017? It might 20, it might have been 2016, 2017, somewhere within that range. So Alex Reyes was off for a very long time before he ended up coming back and fighting again. So it's not like he's just coming back and he took like a year off. No, this dude was off for a long time. But yeah, Tom Nolan gets the round one KO here. I'm not betting it, but that's my prediction.
Fair enough. We'll move on to the next one. That is our next squash match in Far Jack Jenkins taking on Herbert the Blaze Burns. And I'm not sure how much more ember this Blaze has left in it, D-Rose. It's slowly dying out. There's a lot of ashes there. I wouldn't refer to it as a blaze anymore. It's more of a small smolder. The small smolder Herbert Burns. All right. We got Far Jack Jenkins, 12-3 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he is 4-3. Contender series win, knockout, ground and pound. Don Chanis, unanimous decision win. He did beat Jamal Emmers via split decision, and then Chepe broke his arm 10 months ago. This is his first fight back from that. On the other hand, Herbert Burns, as crazy as it sounds, knocked out Nate Landwehr 4 years ago. But it was in the first round. The Blaze had a little bit more heat behind it back then. Rear naked choked Evan Dunham. And then 3 years ago, this is where it starts going downhill. Daniel Pineda, elbows from crucifix, and this Bill. Every time I read it, I just laugh.
Exhaustion from damage. Exhaustion from damage is nuts.
This is the one where everyone is like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Like, this was the worst thing I've ever seen, and he got another fight, dude, and he basically looked the same, but the ref just stopped it. Anyway, currently odds for this fight, D-Rose, plus 480 for Herbert Burns, minus 770 for Jack Jenkins. Jack Jenkins, 31 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach, while Herbert Burns, 36 years old, 5'9", and a 74-inch reach. So Herbert Burns is going to be the bigger, taller, longer guy, dude. But if there's one thing that's not going to happen is he is not going to have a better gas tank. So literally, dude, imagine the fly. Well, you don't fly, D-Rose, but I'm going to put this into perspective. My girlfriend has to go to Hawaii for work this upcoming weekend, D-Rose, and it's a 9-hour flight from Atlanta to Hawaii, like nonstop, 9 hours. And that's probably like halfway, a third of the way to Australia. So Brazil's pretty much the same time zone that we're in. So imagine you flying like 20 hours and then having to fight, dude. It's like UFC wants Herbert to just get done with his contract and get the fuck out of the UFC, dude. They're like, all right, dude. We're gonna set you up for the worst absolute matchup, because can you just imagine the leg kick damage Jack Jenkins is going to do that first round, dude? So I'm not 100% sure that this fight gets out of the first round. I know a lot of Herbert Burns fights, everyone's like, Herbert Burns is dangerous round one, dude. But he's dangerous for like 45 seconds, dude. It's not even all of round one, man. It's like, if he don't get you out of there in 30 seconds, he's ready to call it quits, man. I think after he eats 3 Jack Jenkins leg kicks, he's going to be done, man. So give me Jack Jenkins round 1 leg kick KO. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it much better. Herbert Burns. I told you I have held against Nate Landwehr. That is why I have not been able to say that Nate Landwehr, like I can never give him credit, is because he ended up losing to Herbert Burns by KO. So I was like, dude, like, no, Nate Landwehr, you would not convince me that he's any type of decent fighter. And maybe I shouldn't do that. MMA math isn't always equivalent, but yeah, Herbert Burns just terrible gas tank, man. As you said, got about a minute in, and after that, he is
too long.
He is either looking to take you down or he's looking for the ref to take him out. Like he is at that point, a minute in, like looking at the ref, just doing something like, trying to call shots to the back of the head. He's doing that Josh Frim thing where he's looking at the ref to save him at this point. But yeah, I think Jack. Yeah, exactly.
Right here.
Yeah,
covering up his ears so he can only hit the back. Like 5 ears. He's covering them.
Turned his head into it. It's like, you big dork. But no, I'm gonna be interested to see how Jack Jenkins looks coming back. I'm gonna go round 2 KO because that is a typical Herbert Burns style of losing for him, is in round 2. And I think that there's gonna be a filling out process for Jack Jenkins coming out in the first round, especially coming from such a pretty brutal arm break that he ended up suffering in that Chepe fight. Yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit of hesitation, maybe a little bit of a comfort period that he gets himself settled in. And I think the second round, Jack Jenkins lets it loose and gets that second round TKO.
Yeah, I mean, and the blueprint is out there to beat Herbert Burns. We all know. Just wait, just give him the first round, let him do what he wants to do, and then just take over like in the second. But yeah, I guess we'll see if it gets to the second round this week. So we'll move on to the next one, where we have an interesting one, where we have King Casey O'Neill taking on Live, Laugh, Love Luana Santos. And not so much the Live, Laugh, Love picture that she used to have. We might have to, change her name to what's something better, D Rose? I don't know. I know what we're not going to let. I know what we're not going to do is let Riley or Dave come up with it, because we're going to get banned from YouTube if we start saying whatever they want us to do.
Probably start getting death threats from Luana Santos' family themselves if we were to say anything that they were to say.
All right, so let's get into the fight. We've got King Casey O'Neill, where she is 9-2 overall, dude. And I think I've been pretty solid at calling Casey O'Neill fights, right, dude? Because I mean, I think everyone was on her, and everyone was on her in this fight, and I was just like, no, dude. Jennifer Maya's got too good of boxing. And Casey O'Neill, her stand-up isn't great. She's got a solid ground game, dude, but stand-up's not great. And same thing with this fight, dude. Ariane Lipsky had just been on a tear, and then I just thought she was better. In this fight, dude, let's see if we feel a different way. So Casey O'Neill, 9-2 overall, won 3 of her last 5, lost her last 2, but yeah, took a little bit of a break. Yeah, I think there was an injury in here as well. After the Roxanne fight, there was like a knee injury. So, yeah. On the other hand, we've got Luana Santos, 8-1 overall, and in the UFC, she is 3-0 with a knockout over Juliana Miller. That doesn't really say shit. We've got a decision win over Stephanie Egger up at 135. So, kind of a good win. And then a month ago, choked out Maria Agapova at 125 pounds. Currently, odds for this fight, D Rose, are plus 126. The underdog, Casey O'Neill. Luana Santos, minus 162, the favorite. The Scotland-born, fighting out of Queensland, Australia, Casey O'Neill is 26 years old, 5'6", and a 69-inch reach. I guess she trains at Extreme Couture as well. Casey O'Neill does. While Luana Santos is 24 years old, 5'8", and a 24 years old, 5'6", and a 67-inch reach. Yeah, D-Rose, I think this will be the first dog that I will be picking to win, man. I don't think Luana Santos is the greatest fighter in the world. She kind of gasses, and yeah, I think that Casey O'Neill is good enough on the ground where she can win, control enough, get enough control time to at least win rounds. And I think she's probably the better striker too, dude. So yeah, give me the dog here in King Casey O'Neill to win this fight, probably via decision. So that's going to be my pick. Casey O'Neill via decision. The dog. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I think this fight's actually a pretty well matched fight, and I think the odds are the odds are where they should be in terms of betting this fight, because I do think that that Casey O'Neill, she should be the dog, just based on her last two performances. But she's a very capable fighter. I mean, her striking is okay. She's got good kicks. Her hands aren't the greatest. Like, her boxing isn't the greatest, but she's got some good kicks, and she knows how to really mix everything up well. And I think for Luana Santos, I think kind of the same thing. A little bit of Spider-Man meme here, just in terms of good kicks, okay boxing, really using all that up to kind of really set up the grappling. And we have seen Luana Santos, when she's the hammer, she really able to use her pressure, go forward, and able to establish control. Where I think Casey O'Neill, in the last couple fights, she's been getting dominated more so in the striking game than she has been on the ground. But I will say that Ariane Lipski did. I know Casey O'Neill was hurt in that moment as well, but Ariane Lipski sort of had her way with her on the ground as well. And I think if Luana Santos is able to get it there, Luana Santos is taking this fight on short notice. So that is something to point out as well. As we stated, before the card started, or before we were going over the entire card, Luana Santos did just fight not even a month ago, or right at a month ago, and she's taking another fight. So you could say she's in shape, but again, to turn around and make that weight cut within such a short amount of time, that is
and
something.
She does have the thyroid issue, or she did have the thyroid issue where she fought at 125, then missed weight at 135 about 4 pounds, and then came back down to 125 again. So maybe
right. So yeah, you never know, but yeah, I think Luana Santos, as long as there's no health ramifications from taking this fight on short notice, if she's still kind of in shape from taking that fight from last month, I think Luana Santos is a much well-rounded fighter and should be able to get the win here. Probably be your PBF. Let's just go ahead and label that now. I think it'd be a PBF. I think it'd be a little bit of a clinch exchange, wrestling exchange type fight, but I think Luana Santos gets the decision.
All right, D-Rose labeling it the piss break fight of the night. That's what I need to do. Get a little fucking sound effect. Like, if I can sound effect, like piss break fight of the night. The T-Rose
piss break fight, and then the like a stamp, and just coming in, just stamping it right across the screen or something. That'd be funny.
All right. We'll move on to the next fight of the night, which is Josh Kulabau taking on, I'm not going to try to say that, Ricardo Ramos. Josh Kulabau, 11-3-1 overall out of his last 5 fights, all in the UFC. A decision win over Shilan Nordenbecky, a split decision win over Sung Woo Choi, a rear naked choke over Melsik Bagdasaryan, and then split decision, or a unanimous decision loss to Lerone Murphy, and then Danny Silva split decision loss in a fight that, man, I don't know. Danny Silva took on short notice, and that was a close fight, man. I'm not sure what happened there. On the other hand, Ricardo Ramos, same. Ricardo Ramos, on the other hand, 16-6 overall out of his last 5 fights. Also, all 5 been in the UFC. Bill Algeo, unanimous decision to win. Lost to Zubair Tukhugov, which isn't a great loss. Spinning back elbow over Danny Chavez. Got guillotine choked by Charles Air Jourdain 10 months ago, and then Julian Erosa submitted him 4 months ago, dude. So, at the beginning of his career was kind of like on a little run, but hasn't really done anything really in the really I don't know, past 2 years, really since the Zubair Tukhugov loss hasn't really looked too good. Currently, odds for this fight are Josh Kulabau minus 162, Ricardo Hamosh plus 126. Josh Kulabau, 30 years old, 5'10", 73-inch reach, while Ricardo Hamosh is 29 years old, 5'9", and a 72-inch reach. This is Ricardo Hamosh trains at China team. That's probably why you're not winning, dude. You're training at China team. Why aren't you training at Alpha Male, dude? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I got to go Josh Kulabau to win this fight via decision. He's on his home turf. And Ricardo Hamosh just hasn't looked too good in his past few fights. As for Josh Kulabau, he will fight for your money if you're gonna bet on him. So give me Josh Kulabau to win this fight via decision. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, I thought Kulabau won his last fight against Danny Silva. I know Danny Silva is a dangerous matchup, but Danny Silva was also missed weight pretty badly going into that, and I thought Kulabau won round 2 and 3 personally. But no, I think Josh Kulabau, good fighter, man, good boxing, good wrestling. He kind of chains everything well together. He's got good. He's got a sick rear naked choke, so he's kind of one of those. If he gets the back, I mean, the way he was able to snatch up Melsick back to Sargon's neck so quickly, yeah, it was very impressive. So yeah, I think Josh Kulabau's got I think he's got a lot of skill to really work his way up in this featherweight division. And I think Ricardo Hamosh, good fighter, but he tends to gas as the fight goes. So I wouldn't be too mad if maybe a Kulabau might take a long shot on like a Kulabau submission round 2 or 3. But for just the money line itself, I think he'd be good enough just to parlay. But yeah, I'm definitely going Josh Kulabau here.
Fair enough. We'll move on to the next fight. That
Such
is
a bad fight.
the juggernaut, Junior Tafa, D-Rose. Really, he's a fake heavyweight. I swear he weighs in with shit in his pockets to make him weigh more than he actually weighs, because he weighs in with pants and shoes and all that. Dude, it just looks weird whenever I see Justin Tafa weigh in. I don't think he is a heavyweight. I think he could easily make 205 if he would just lose a little bit of weight, man. But it almost seems like he's like, nah, I have to be a heavyweight. I'm Samoan. I have to be a heavyweight. Yeah. Anyway, he's going to be taking on the farthest thing from a clean monster. It is Walter Walker, the brother of Johnny Walker. So we have a brother of Johnny Walker and the brother of Justin Tafa fighting each other at heavyweight. So here we go. Junior Tafa, 5-2 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, 3 have been in the UFC. A Muhammad Usman decision loss, a Parker Porter knockout win, which, doesn't really say a whole lot, and Marcus Rogerio de Lima, KO leg kicks, ground and pound loss. Pays out did that to Junior Tafa. On the other hand, the clean monster Walter Walker has only had 1 fight in the UFC, and it was Lucas Dretsky decision loss, where, dude, Lucas Dretsky kind of just boxed up Walter Walker, but he didn't get him out of there, so he's got a chin. We'll say that. Currently, odds for this fight, minus 130 for Junior Tafa, plus 102 for Walter Walker. Junior Tafa, 27 years old, 6'3", and a 72-inch reach, while the clean monster, Walter Walker, is 26 years old, 6'6", and an 81-inch reach. D-Rose, yeah, I'm going to pass this one to you first. I already have my lean here. I believe you already know which way I'm going here. I'm going to pass it to you. I'm going to run in and grab something to drink real quick, and I will be right back if you want to speak on this one.
Yeah, I think I know which way you're going to lean on this one, but for me personally, man, I'm not going to lie. This is a really tough fight to choose, because you can honestly make the argument this is one of those types of old style, the striker versus grappler matchup, where Walter Walker, you hear him being Johnny Walker's brother, and you imagine all this big, athletic, power striker, and he's this and that. And no, Walter Walker is actually just a guy. He just plots forward and is looking to get the fight to the ground by any means. And if you see him strike for a half a second, you will realize that, how on God's green earth is this dude related to Johnny Walker by any means whatsoever? While Junior Tafa does live up to the hype of the way that his brother fights, Justin Tafa, he goes in there and really goes in there using that boxing more than anything. He doesn't really use the kicks as much. Will use leg kicks, but using the boxing to try to get dudes out of there. And the Tafas tend to really have really good power as well. For me personally, man, the Junior Tafa fight against Payzal was tough. Was tough to watch. But so was Walter Walker against Lucas Dresky, dude. I mean, for Lucas Dresky to really control and dominate the way that he was able to, I mean, that just gave me such a hesitancy to even look towards Walter Walker's way. So for Junior Tafa, I mean, the dude is not those dudes, Tafas, Mark Hunt, Tai Tuivasa, all those Samoan dudes, from that Australian type of area, they all have bad wrestling defense, but they all have power. And if they land, they're going to get you out of there. I think Junior Tafa is going to be a little bit quicker than Walter Walker, being that he's really light heavyweight fighting a heavyweight. And I think Junior Tafa gets the knockout against Walter Walker.
All right. Well, I will be going the other way, D-Rose. And, you already knew this. Junior Tafa's takedown defenses. Dude, how can I say this? It's like if you pick his leg up just a little bit, he's so bottom heavy that if you pick his leg up like 6 inches off the ground, he's like, whoa. It's like they have the worst balance on earth that if you can just grab a single leg, they're going to fall over. And dude, John,
I mean, they're pretty big dudes. I mean, understandable to not have that much balance, but them being as heavy as they are.
But Walter Walker, just so much bigger, dude. 6'6", 81-inch reach. I can only imagine that he's probably going to pick up Junior Tafa at some point, put him on the ground, and just probably lay on him. So, not the best thing to rely on after this past weekend. We're relying on people to wrestle, but give me Walter Walker to wrestle Junior Tafa all 3 rounds. Unanimous decision win for Walter Walker. That's the way I'm going.
That's your PBF.
Right.
That's your PBF.
That's our third different one. So we'll move on to the next fight. That is, we have the Leech, Li Jingliang, taking on the Nightmare Cigarette Smoker, Carlos Prates, dude. And dude, there's nothing more badass than a dude that has Muay Thai tattooed across his chest that smokes a cigarette before and after he beats your ass, dude. I mean, is there anything more frightening than that, dude? From the favelas of Brazil.
That's a real ass dude. That's one thing that you can never take away from Carlos Prates. That's a real ass dude. To be smoking a cigarette and just a Hanes white t-shirt after the fight. That's a real G right there.
Just out there with a Marlboro Red, dude.
Reds out of all the ones. Yuck.
All right, dude, let's get into it. We have the Leech, Li Jingliang, who is 19-8 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has 3 losses and 2 wins. A loss over Neil Magny 4 years ago. A win over Santiago Ponzinibbio 3 years ago. Lost a Khamzat rear naked choke when the most memeable thing for a long time, man, where Khamzat picked him up and just carried. We had never seen that happen before. Knocked out Muslim Salikov, and then in another Khamzat situation, dude, got fucked and had to fight D-Rod 10 pounds down and did lose a split decision loss, which in a fight that I think a lot of people think that he should have won, to be honest. On the other hand, we have Carlos Prates, 19-6 overall. He has had a fight on the Contender Series, knockout, fight in the UFC, knocked out Trevin Giles, and fight that I felt bad for Trevin Giles in because he was winning every moment of that fight until he just got hit with the smokers left. You know, it just
Smell the nicotine, the nicotine sting.
the nicotine
bang!
right, and the smokers left. You don't want them, dude.
Yeah.
And then knocked out Charlie Radke disgustingly 2 months ago. Currently odds for this fight plus 280 for the Li Jingliang. Carlos Prates minus 390. The Leech, 36 years old, man. We haven't seen him in over a year, dude, and he's getting up there, dude. 36, 6 foot, 72-inch reach, while Carlos Prates is 31 years old, 6'1" and a 78-inch reach. And the most important stat about this fight is Carlos Prates, a fighting nerd, man. And dude, they are on a roll, man. So yeah, give me Carlos Prates. As much as everyone likes the Leech, man, I don't think I've ever seen the Leech get knocked out. The closest thing I've seen to it was the Santiago when they threw like at the same time, like they both landed, but like Leech just deaded Santiago. Like that was the closest thing, the cleanest punch that I've ever seen Leech eat. And, you know, and he ate it. So I don't think like Leech ever been really hurt or wobbled, but Carlos Prates, a different animal, dude, and he does really dirty body work, dude. Knees and kicks to the body, and I think that's something that may give Leech some problems, especially with the distance. So give me Carlos Prates probably to knock out Leech. Let's go second round. So second round knockout for Carlos Prates over the Li Jingliang. Which way are you going here, man?
Gosh, this is actually, to me, I think it might be the most fun fight on the card. Well, I don't want to say the most fun. I'll say the most underrated, because I think just in terms of the matchup and how it could turn out. I mean, dude, this could turn out to be a pretty banger of a fight. Like, I mean, Carlos Prates, I mean, he's, you know, as you said, the Muay Thai striker that he is, you know, absolutely nasty. If he has you backed up against the fence, he's going to work those knees and elbows in there. Nasty knees to the body, as he put out Charles Radke with in their last fight as well, which is absolutely nasty knees to the body. And he just finds a way to land that power, even when the odds are stacked against him. As you said in the Trevin Giles fight, you know, he was losing that fight until he wasn't, and just landed the big power there to get him out of there. Man, I've picked against Carlos Prates, I believe, in all of his UFC fights. I love me some Leech, man. It's a really tough matchup. The biggest thing for me is that if Carlos Prates, if he's not able to land that home run shot, what's the fight going to end up looking like then? You know, if Leech is able to kind of make it a little bit of a dirty fight, you know, kind of get in his face a little bit, is he going to be able to put a little pressure on Prates, land a big shot of his own? Because as we know, Leech does have power and can get you out of there. But I'm gonna go with the more young, athletic guy, Carlos Prates. Good power, as I said, good in the pocket as well, and he can also take a shot as well. So I just think you know, Carlos Prates has more weapons to win with. I think it'll end up being a decision. I don't see Leech getting knocked out. He's never been knocked out before in his career, and I don't see it now. But I think this ends up being a little bit more. I think this ends up being a little bit more of a slugfest than what most people are anticipating right now. But I think Carlos Prates gets the decision.
All right. We'll see the lungs of Carlos Prates tested. See if they're filled with tar and if they can go 3 rounds. We'll move on to the next one where we have
that
Ty,
nicotine sting, baby.
We have Ty Bam Tuivasa taking on Biggie Boy Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Man, Tai Tuivasa, out of his last 5 fights, he has lost 4 of them and only won 1 of them over the Black Beast, Derek Lewis. Lost knockout Cyril Gane. Lost knockout Sergey Pavlovich. Lost Ezekiel choke Alexander Volkov. Lost rear naked choke Marcin Tybura 4 months ago. 14-7 overall, while Biggie Boy Jairzinho Rozenstruik 14-5 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, 3 losses, 2 wins. Loss over Curtis Blades 2 years ago. Loss over Alexander Volkov 2 years ago. He did knock out Chris Daukaus, but, you know, Tate almost knocks out Chris Daukaus when he puts Vaseline on his face. He did get rear naked choked by Jelton Almeida, and then Shamil Gaziev retired in between round 4 and 5 on the stool. So Jairzinho gets the KO win there. Currently, odds for this fight, D-Rose, are where are they at? Plus 176 for Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa and minus 230 for Biggie Boy Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Tai Tuivasa, 31 years old, 6'2" and a 75-inch reach, while Biggie Boy Jairzinho Rozenstruik is 36 years old, 6'2" and a 78-inch reach. Yeah, D Rose. I think I'm probably how do I say this? I think a lot of people give Rozenstruik shit because they don't think he's a good fighter. When in reality, he's a really good fighter, but it just depends on the matchup, dude. If the person he's fighting has a chin, if they have better footwork than he does, then he's probably going to lose. Like, in that footwork thing, like you even saw in Alistair Overeem, you have to have the chin and the footwork to still not get beat by him, because if not, he tends to close the range, and he's got power to get people out of there. One that I know that no one was on that I was on a lot. I don't even see it on here. It was the Augusto Sakai fight after he lost to Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Everyone's like, after he lost to Cyril Gane, everyone's like, he's ass. And then he went out there and snoozed Augusto Sakai. And I'm like, dude, Biggie Boy's back. Yeah, but this fight, it seems like it's kind of tailor-made for Tai Tuivasa, man. It's like, we know Tai's got a chin. We know Tai has power, dude. He'll put a lot of people out. The leg kicks, I think, might cause some problems to Jairzinho Rozenstruik, because in fighting, what I've noticed a lot, dude, a fighter will land something and then the other fighter will immediately try to land the exact same thing back, like blow for blow. One fighter lands a body kick. Within the next 3 seconds, that other fighter is going to throw a body kick. And it just happens. You see a fighter spin, the other fighter ends up spinning in the next 30 seconds. It's almost like it gives them the idea of it. And it's weird, and it's just one of these little things I fucking notice all the time. I expect Tai Tuivasa to come out there, throw a few leg kicks, and then when Jairzinho Rozenstruik goes to throw those leg kicks back, it ends something like the Francis Ngannou fight when Jairzinho Rozenstruik was trying to counter Francis's punches with leg kicks. So, yeah, give me Tai Tuivasa to probably knock out Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Let's go early second round. So, Bam Bam Tuivasa, and then going to hit a shoey on top of the cage in Perth, Western Australia. Yeah, let's go Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa. Which way are you going here, man? You're muted, my guy.
Oh yeah, my fault on that. Had a little chaos in the background, but yeah, I'm surprised. I know you're typically a Biggie Boy rider. Pause. So yeah, that big pause on that. But yeah, I know that's your guy, so I'm surprised that you're actually picking against him. But yeah, man, I think well matched fight. And I tend to give Jairzinho's crap as well. I think it was really since that Cyril Gane fight. He just went out there for me, it just felt like it was no sense of urgency, and I just think from that point on, I think he just hadn't been able to get the stain off of him as far as him being a guy who doesn't necessarily pull the trigger as much as we want him to. Because we know when he does in fights against Augusto Sakai and Chris Daukaus and those types of fights, when he lets the punches go, he can hurt some dudes.
Alan Crowder with like a push jab, like in his first fight, he's like boom, and like the dude just sat down. I was like, what just happened? It's like the death touch.
Yeah, he's definitely got the power. But yeah, the big thing for him is he's just so plotty when he's walking forward and just heavy on his feet. And I think them leg kicks for Tai, as you said, them leg kicks are going to be open all day. and I think he's just going to batter Jairzinho's leg, just the way he's so plotty on his feet. And I think even if Jairzinho is to try to move in, is he the better technical striker? Sure, but I think in terms of power, Ty's power is just as good as Jairzinho's, in my opinion. And I think Ty's the faster of the two. And unless Jairzinho's is going to come in here and surprise me and start using takedowns, which I really don't think that Jairzinho is going to. I mean, he could surprise us. You never know. But unless he comes in here and surprises us with some takedowns, man, yeah, I think I think Ty's I think this is well set up for Ty to get a win here. His back's against the wall, but it's against a guy who's going to go in there and throw leather with him. And you get guys like that with Tai Tuivasa, a 50-50 fight like that, especially where he's got the speed advantage. I'm going Ty as well. So I'm going to go Tai Tuivasa. Let's go by decision.
All right. Surprising there. I don't see it happening, but hey, maybe. Jairzinho's tough, dude. Jairzinho is tough, especially if you can't submit him. So we'll move on to the next fight. That is Mateusz Gamrot taking on the Hangman, Dan Hooker. Mateusz Gamrot, 24-2 overall out of his last 5 fights. A decision win over Arman Tsarukyan. A decision loss against Beneil Dariush. A decision win, split decision over Jalen Turner. I thought he lost that, but whatever. Rafael Fiziev leg injury KO. And then RDA unanimous decision win. On the other hand, Dan the Hangman Hooker is 23-12 overall, and out of his last 5 fights, he has won 3 and lost 2. A win over Nasrat Haqparast, and where he looked like Khabib in that fight. Lost to Islam Makhachev, but that's the champion. Who hasn't? Arnold Allen, he did lose to Arnold Allen down at 145 in the first round, but dude, he did drop Arnold Allen to a knee in that fight too. He absolutely destroyed Claudio Puelles, but Claudio Puelles has only the knee bar and no way to get to the ground, so can't do anything. And a split decision, Jalen Turner win. And another close fight, which I went Jalen Turner in that one as well. Currently, odds for this fight, though, D-Rose, are minus 360 for Mateusz Gamrot, and Dan Hooker is plus 260, the underdog. Mateusz Gamrot, 33 years old, 5'10", 70.5-inch reach, while Dan Hooker is 34 years old, 6 foot, and a 75-inch reach. This goes back to one of those things we were just talking about, I guess, before we started talking about this card. Has someone talked to Mateusz Gamrot? Because, dude, if there's one person that UFC, I think they absolutely hate, it's Mateusz Gamrot. He's like, he was the backup for, the
Islam versus Charles, and then Volk
Islam
ended up getting
Charles.
the damn fight.
They
Charles gave the fight to Volk. Well, Mateusz Gamrot literally weighed in as the backup for the fight for Charles Oliveira versus Islam 2. And instead of giving the fight to the backup fighter when Charles Oliveira couldn't take the fight due to a cut that he had, they gave the fight to Volkanovski on 10 days' notice instead of the backup fighter that you had planned there initially anyway. Made no sense.
Yeah, and then after that fight, it ain't even like he got like a top 5 lightweight. They gave him RDA, dude. It's like UFC wants to keep Mateusz Gamrot as far away from a championship belt as possible. So, is this one of the talks that they've had to him, that they had to talk with, Muhammad Makayev and possibly Carl Williams, dude? It's like, hey, you're boring as absolute fuck. No one wants to see you just go for 24 takedowns a fight and do nothing fucking with it. So yeah, man, tough fight. Going off of just what I know and what I've seen over my years of watching these two fighters fight now, I have to go Mateusz Gamrot via decision. Because Dan Hooker, he hasn't fought many fighters that want to take him down. But when he does, he's got ass takedown defense, and he just gets taken down and pretty much exposed on the ground for not having a really good ground game, at least from the bottom. So, yeah, give me Mateusz Gamrot to win this fight via decision. But if someone has talked to Mateusz Gamrot about, not shooting takedowns in this fight, then Dan Hooker going to piece Mateusz Gamrot up. But yeah, Mateusz Gamrot via decision for me. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, I think because I always give Gamrot love, especially after that Armin Tsarukyan win, because I thought that Armin was going to win that fight too, but stepping away, I'd bet on Armin to win that fight, but I really couldn't be mad that Gamrot got that win because just his pace, pressure. I mean, that dude, I think Gamrot can give literally anybody a tough matchup. Like, I think a fight between him and Islam would be interesting just due to his wrestling and his cardio, man, this way that dude can push the pace. I think that would be a really interesting match with him and Islam or anybody like that. But as you said, they don't want Mateusz Gamrot near a title fight right now. And, for fans, hardcore fans would like to watch him fight, but I can understand in the grand scheme of things whereas someone like Dan Hooker, fan-friendly style, even going back to that last fight against Jalen Turner, the UFC page did post that Jalen Turner and Dan Hooker fight again on YouTube. I went back and watched it again. Fight still holds up, dude. That fight was absolutely bonkers. For Dan Hooker to really be, back against the wall, probably about 2 minutes left in the second round, and really to come back and steal that fight. Just absolute heart and guts by him, man. Gamrot, dude, super good fighter, super good wrestling, great chin. Even though he does get hit in some of his fights, man, and that's the only thing that really worries me is, man, he can definitely take a hit. And he gets hit a lot. And even if you go back in that RDA fight, Gamrot went to go in for a takedown. And, dude, RDA had the cleanest knee waiting for him on the other side of that takedown. And he ended up hurting Gamrot early in the fight. Now, Gamrot did come back, gather himself, ended up winning the fight. But he definitely got clipped with that shot. So, I had to go with my boy, the Hangman, baby. It's just a scratch. Joe, it's just a scratch, baby. We riding with the dog. Dan, the Hangman, Hooker. Try to get the back shot of the X-rays. He with the dog. With the facial fracture and the arm fractures, I had to turn around in my chair awkwardly. But the fractures, the facial fractures, the arm fractures, the dude is an absolute dog. And if there's one thing that Dan Hooker has is nasty knees. Gamrot goes in there for a nasty takedown like that. Hangman hits him with one. He's going good night. And Dan Hooker's back in the top 5 in the lightweight division. Let's go, Dan Hooker, by knockout, baby.
All right. I'm on Mateusz Gamrot, D-Rose on the Hangman, Dan Hooker. We'll move on to the next fight. Let's see what you guys got to say. The most animated I have ever seen, D-Rose. So we'll move on to the co-main event. That is Kai, Don't Blink, Car France, taking on the Astro Boy, Steve Erceg. 2 Australia natives here. Kai, Don't Blink. First of all, I think they've already fought once on the regional scene, first of all, D-Rose. But I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, Don't Blink, Kai, Car France, 24-11. Out of his last 5 fights, 1-3, lost 2. A knockout over Rogerio Bontorin, knocked out Cody Garbrandt, Askarov decision win, lost to Brandon Moreno, and then lost to Amir Albazi via split decision. We haven't seen Kai in a little bit, dude. He keeps getting injured if I'm not incorrect there. But on the other hand, he's going to be taking on Astro Boy Steve Erceg, 12-2 overall, and pretty much coming to the UFC and made a splash. He's had 4 fights in the UFC now. Decision win over David Dvorak. Decision win over Alessandro Costa. Knocked out Matt Schnell. And then Chris Tione was made fun of Matt Schnell to his face right after. And then he did get a title fight where he did lose to Alexandre Pantoja via decision. Currently, odds for this fight are Kai Don't Blink Car France is plus 134 and Steve Erceg minus 172, your favorite. Kai Kara France is 31 years old, 5'4" and a 69-inch reach, while Steve Erceg is 29 years old, 5'8" and a 68.5-inch reach. Yeah, D Rose. Good fight we have here, but I think what's going to be the difference maker here is Kai trying to close the difference, and he is going to be eating jabs and elbows from Steve Erceg, dude, because Steve Erceg's got clean hands, and when it comes to even closer, dude, he likes to throw elbows too. So, man, Steve Erceg's got clean boxing and clinch work, and I think he ends up hurting Kai Kara France enough to win each round, or maybe even get Kai Kara France out of there. So give me Steve Erceg, but I'm going to say via decision. So Steve Erceg via decision for me. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, tough fight, well matched fight, and yeah, I think Steve Erceg coming off the title fight, man, he's got a lot of momentum with him right now. Giving Alessandro Pantoja probably the toughest fight that he's had in the UFC, that because Pantoja lost to Figgy, and he has another loss there. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, Pantoja's been very consistent, and Steve Erceg took him to the brink of defeat, man. And honestly, if Steve Erceg didn't go for that takedown there in that last round to get reversed like that, he very well could have won that fifth round if it was kind of a striking fest there. But I will say that Kai Kara France comes in with a lot more power. Definitely can put the lights out. Don't blink is his name for a reason. The dude is just going in there, all action, pressing forward. I think the difference is too with Kai trying to close the range. Kai throws a good jab, but he does not throw a lot of straight punches altogether. It's a lot of big hooks. You can even see in the Cody Garbrandt fight, like, dude, he's literally closing range with hooks and uppercuts. Like, it's going to be hard to try to work in the range with Steve Erceg, who's such a clean boxer, to work your way in with hooks and really be effective. I think the quicker of the two is going to be Kai Kara France. I think who's going to have the power advantage is going to be Kai Kara France, but I think the more technical advantage is going to go to Steve Erceg here. And I do think that Steve Erceg gets a decision here. And I think it ends up being kind of like a technical fun scrap, but I think Steve Erceg gets a decision.
All right. Me and D-Rose both on Astro Boy Steve Erceg in the co-main event. So move on to the main event, the moment you've all been waiting for. We have the main event this weekend, UFC 305, where Dricus Still Knocks Du Plessis will be taking on the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. Dricus Du Plessis, Still Knocks, is 21-2 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, all in the UFC, a unanimous decision win over Brad Tavares, a rear naked choke win over Darren Till, a knockout corner stoppage, throw in the towel against Derek Brunson a year ago, and then he did knock out Robert Whittaker. Power jab to punches is the way he knocked out Robert. Okay. And then he did win the championship 6 months ago in a split decision win over Sean Strickland. On the other hand, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya, 24-3 overall out of his last 5 fights. Decision win over Robert Whittaker. Decision win over Jared Cannonier. Lost to Alex Pereira. Knocked out Alex Pereira. And then lost to Sean Strickland via decision. Currently, odds for this fight are -104 for Dricus Du Plessis and -122 for the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. So no plus money here. Both minus money, but I guess Israel more of the favorite out of the two. Dricus Du Plessis, 30 years old, 6'1" and a 76-inch reach, while Izzy is 35 years old, 6'4" and an 80-inch reach. Yeah, D Rose. Gonna go ahead and take this off the screen. Go with this. Yeah, I don't know if either one of us have ever picked Dricus to win a fight, man. I'm gonna be honest. It's like,
don't say either one of us. I picked Dricus to win plenty.
Did you pick him to beat Robert Whittaker?
Not Robert Whittaker, but Darren
Did you?
Till, Brad Tavares. Like, yeah, I definitely picked him to beat all those dudes, 100%.
All right. Well, let's just say
And Strickland too.
let's just say I don't think we have. I know I haven't picked him. I think me and you are on the same page, and we don't think that he is the best fighter. He just seems so wild, and like there's no game plan at all, not even in the slightest. So when it comes to that, it's hard to game plan for him. But at the same time, when you're such a surgical striker like Izzy, I don't think it matters. I think you're going to find those openings when they present themselves. And yeah, D Rose showed his shirt. It's my new shirt that I got, my anti-social social club, Israel Adesanya, when they International Fight Week. The back got the big thing on it. No Izzy on there. But yeah, dude, I think Izzy at some point he knocks out Dricus. You can see Dricus getting knocked out. You can go watch it on YouTube, and it's just basically by him just being wild and the fighter that he's fighting just catching him in between. And if there's one thing that's what Izzy is the best at, is catching you in between your strikes. Look at Rob, look at Costa. You know, that's how he gets you. So yeah, I suspect at some point throughout this fight, Israel Adesanya is going to knock out Dricus du Plessis. I hope D Rose is with me, but I guess we'll find out. Which way are you going here, D Rose?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I have been going back and forth with this one for a little bit now, because everybody knows Izzy's my guy, favorite fighter here. Hey, I mean, I got the poster back here with him and Gaslam for a reason. I mean, that's one of the top 5 fights of all time. Yeah, the dude's been my favorite fighter for a long time. Dricus, as I was just saying, you know, I didn't pick him to beat Robert Whittaker. I did think Robert Whittaker would beat him, but I did think that he would beat Strickland. I thought that, you know, like I said, Tavares, Brunson, Darren Till. I mean, I think those are fights that, you know, you could very clearly see, like, oh yeah, you know, besides the Strickland one, you know, Brunson, Till, Tavares, those types of wins. Yeah, you could see those being wins for Dricus there. But yeah, I did not think that he would beat Robert Whittaker, but I do think, man, he's able to adapt and adjust to a lot of different fighters is what I've been able to.
It's because he don't have a game plan. He just goes in there and does whatever.
And I mean, he kind of even says that, like, he goes out there and he fights, and then he's literally making adjustments mid-fight. So I think you can even go back to the Strickland fight, to where in that first round, like, I remember being someone who would bet Dricus by decision, and I bet Dricus in a parlay. Like, dude, I'm sitting there like, dude, it's not looking good for Dricus right now here in the first round, and he's able to come out there, kind of win those middle rounds, and really kind of put his stamp on the fight in rounds 2, 3, 4, in my opinion. Now for Izzy, we know that, as you said, the surgical striker he is. He's going to make his reads. He's going to give you feints to show openings and kind of, you know, leave that one opening to where he can really take advantage. Man, the big thing for me, I don't know if Alex took a little bit out of Izzy or what, but man, I swear since that first fight, it's just been something with him. And I know you can say, well, wow, Dorian, that's really dumb, because yeah, I would not be surprised if that was the case. Yeah, I mean, you could look back and say, oh, well, you know, Izzy had one of the greatest knockouts in UFC history against Alex in that second fight. So I might sound stupid, but if you go back and actually watch that fight, like, dude, Izzy is getting tagged in that, and almost that entire fight. Now, he is standing in the pocket and is throwing, but he was getting hurt a lot in that fight against Alex before he was able to land that home run shot. Against Sean Strickland, man, it was just really concerning, because I did not see that same dog that he was saying that Izzy had brought to the Alex fight that second time. If Izzy does not bring that dog with him to this fight, he will end up having a very similar result as he did to Alex Pereira. I'm just saying, or against Sean Strickland, and that someone's just going to pressure him down, walk him forward, and they're going to end up getting him out of there, or, you know, just end up winning the fight. So Izzy is really going to have to bring that dog out, man. Whew. I'm still going to go Izzy. I'm still going to go Izzy because I can't back. I got to back the dog, baby. The hunted becomes the hunter. Part 2. He's coming out here and he's going to reclaim the belt once again to become and new once again. Israel Adesanya. I'd say by decision. Dricus did get knocked out before in his career, but that was at 205. He has not been knocked out at 185. So I will say that, yes, Izzy will get the job done by decision. He's going to come out with the dog chain on. And, he's going to get it done by decision here.
All right. Yeah, I personally think it looks like the Costa fight. I think it looks like the Costa fight. I think it ends up knocking him out at some point. And we got Lush, look, man, keeping track of us. We appreciate you, Lush. You guys pick different on Nickel versus Aguilar, Casey O'Neill versus Luana Santos, Tafa versus Walker, and Gamrot versus Hooker. So, with that being said, I've got the pick champ over here. So, you have the honors of doing our pick champ for this week, D-Rose.
Let's just do 3 fights because there's no sense in doing number.
I mean, we don't have 5. So
we don't have that 5th. You really messed me up with Tai Tuivasa and Jardina Rosenstrike. I really thought you were gonna go Biggie Boy in that one. So I thought that tie counter was gonna be able to get you. But let's go since we got 3. Shoo-wee. This is a tough list here, boys. Let's keep the first 2, Nickel versus Aguilar and O'Neill versus Santos. And let's make that third one. Oh man. Let's go Gamrot Hooker, man. I don't want to put my faith into Tafa or Walker, and I don't want to have to watch that fight and have any stakes on it. So
all right, so we'll do that one as the backup if necessary. But 3 different picks for this upcoming weekend for the pick champ and D-Rose for eating being boozled again this upcoming week. We've got Nickel versus Jesus Aguilar. I forgot Nickel's first name, but it's okay. We've got Casey O'Neill versus Luana Santos, where I got Casey O'Neill, D-Rose on Luana Santos. And the last one is Matus Gamrot versus the Hangman, Dan Hooker, where I'm on Matus Gamrot, D-Rose on Hangman, Dan Hooker. Appreciate you, Lush. You are an absolute gentleman, my guy. What's going on? What's going on, Randy? If Izzy loses, I feel bad for his thought. Well, D-Rose with the classic switcheroo, you son of a bitch. Dude, I really thought
think one way and went the other. Zig really when he thought I was going to zig.
100% thought I was like, he's going to pick Dricus. He's going to pick Dricus. And when Izzy knocks him out, I'm going to be like, D-Rose, what the hell, man? Like, how could you do that? So with that being said, D-Rose, our play this week, I feel like it should be Izzy, but that's just my lean. Minus 122. Tie. Is that how you're feeling? Tie to
you know what? How about I not agree? How about I just keep my opinion to myself?
Because when the Patty thing happened, when the Patty one happened, we both picked Patty. Yeah, you agree. You just didn't bet it. Yeah, I think Ty could be too risky, dude. That's my issue. Because what if he hasn't been training? Who knows?
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's a tough week. It really is.
Let me see here. How will fight end?
I mean, I will say, dude, I am nervous. I am nervous about Izzy.
See, I'm tempted. The fight to end by KO, either fighter plus 120, or the fighter to end by points plus 105. And it's like, well, I feel like, man, I don't know. Round props. Let's see. Now, I don't know, dude. It's going to be weird. What about the co-main?
Do we do Coma, I mean, that's a pretty wide line, right?
Yeah, but we got props. Steve Erceg 3-or decision is exactly plus 100.
Yeah.
All right, there it is.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Prop of the week. Steve Erceg 3-or decision. Come on, focus, you fucking camera. Okay, or don't. There we go. Steve Erceg, round 3 or decision, exactly plus 100. I gotta log in, but I'll make it right after the podcast. That'll be the podcast play of the week. Steve Erceg, 3-or decision plus 100. So, with that being said, we got Lush saying, "Stay safe, everyone. See you Friday." Hell yeah, Lush. I'll see you Friday, man. The play of the week is Erceg. Yeah, I love it. Indeed. So. Tim is there with us. Yeah, D Rose, that's going to be it for the podcast tonight. But let's talk about this for a second. What do we got coming up? So Friday, Change of Cheddar. Would you like to come to Change of Cheddar on Friday, D Rose?
Yeah, we're in there. We always in for a pay-per-view.
All right, and yeah, as I said, my girlfriend's leaving early Saturday morning, so about 5 a.m. Saturday morning. So. If you want to do the little stream thing, I'd be down for it if you ain't got shit going on. But if not, we can do the recap after, or if you feel like it. It is what it is. But yeah, I'd be down for any of that because I'm not going to have shit going on Saturday. I'll be watching the fights by myself. So if D Rose don't want to do a fight stream Saturday, then you might get this guy just watching the fights with you Saturday. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't have any plans Saturday as of yet. So yeah, we can go ahead and we'll pencil it in.
Okay, cool. So possibly live fight companion on Saturday for the pay-per-view. Yeah, we got Dave Sam pay-per-view fight companion LFG. Yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, you expect to see me and D Rose back here Friday night for Change of Cheddar. We'll give you some bets and parlays, hoping to win some money for this upcoming pay-per-view. Hopefully, D Rose, if I can win half as much money as I won last pay-per-view, this pay-per-view, I'll be happy, man. Like I will be content.
I would not blame you. I would be too.
Yeah, so that's my goal this weekend. Win half as much as I won last, and I'll be content. So with that being said, we'll see you guys Friday night for Change of Cheddar, and then possibly Saturday for a fight companion. But if not, live post fight. With that being said, my name is Matt. D Rose is on that side of the screen. This has been the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. Anything before we get out of here, D Rose?
No, man. Good pod today, and we're gonna turn it back around and we'll see y'all boys on Friday.
All right. Tim's looking forward to it. And night, guys. Thank you both. Hell yeah. We appreciate each and every single one of you guys for stopping by and hanging out with us here tonight. If y'all haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button on y'all's way out. But with that being said, me and D Rose will see you guys on Friday night for Change of Cheddar. Peace.